All right, yeah. So we're gonna try to get started here again. Get through as much as possible. Um, if you guys do have any questions, please just save them for when we have our resume critiques. That will be the best time to communicate with us on anything you may have and discuss any questions you might have. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, quick agenda stuff. So the first 30 minutes, as I was saying earlier, are going to be dedicated to our GBM here. We're going to talk about what IEEE is. We're going to discuss our new webmaster and our new website that's coming up. We're also going to tell you a bit about our projects and events coming along and our upcoming podcast episodes. And the last hour and a half of this event is going to be dedicated to our resume critiques. This will also be a chance for you, again, to communicate with us, talk about anything while you're waiting to be critiqued. And we should be joined by our two engineers, Alec and Nate, in about 30 minutes here. And these will be individual and they'll be, oh no, oh, sorry about that. I will try not to click Discord links. And these will be individualized to you guys, completely confidential, give you guys the best content possible. So yeah, a quick introduction here. I guess first off, my name is Alex. I am the president, chair of IEEE UCF. A pleasure to see so many of you guys, so many new faces. It's really cool to have so many people interested in our organization. So I guess I wanted to start off by kind of introducing what we are. So IEEE UCF is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers here at UCF. We are nationally the largest technical society on the planet, all throughout the globe, 160 different countries. I believe it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of members, a lot of people. Our main focus is on electrical and computer engineering, but as we have on the bottom of this slide, we are open to all majors. We would really like inclusion of all of you guys. We have a need for all majors. So there's really a lot of opportunity to get involved, and we look forward to being able to present those opportunities to you guys. So who are we? What do we do here? Well, we're a family of over 200 active members now. We've been growing substantially since this last fall. We really have been focusing a lot on opportunity and innovation in these troubling times through the pandemic. And it's really a testament to a lot of you guys that have been working your buns off to make these things possible and innovating through, again, these very difficult times that we've faced. And we're very thankful for that. And we're very thankful for you guys. A lot of what we focus on here is being technically proficient. A lot of the workshops and projects are hands-on, hardware-based, working with, again, electrical components, computer components, mechanical components, you name it, we're trying to bring it to you guys. But that's not the only thing that we are. We also have our professional development side and our philanthropic side, trying to get you guys ready for industry, prepare you for the real world. And we also really want to try to expand on giving back to the community and giving back to the world. We'll talk a little bit about how we're doing all of these, how we're focusing on some of these things that we've not been as tuned into in the past and how we're improving on that. And I think the most important part of who we are as an organization is we're here to serve you guys. This organization wouldn't be anything if it's not for our members. So it's truly a pleasure again to see so many of you guys show up here, wanting to get involved, ready to get your hands dirty while still staying safe. So yeah, let's continue on here. I think the next slide here is a little bit more about us as a region. Many of you have probably seen this slide before, but we are located in Region 3 of IEEE, which is the Southeast region down here, little Florida right there. We're in the Orlando section. And again, we're the UCF student chapter of this. You see some statistics on our membership, 421,000 members worldwide, a bunch of different conferences, a bunch of technical societies, and again, a bunch of ways to get involved on a national scale as well. Some of the stuff we did last semester, just to run through it, give you guys a heads up of what we've done and where we plan to go. So we did a bunch of workshops. These were a big success for us, both in person and virtually. In person, we were able to do our solar charger and embedded systems workshop with TI. as well as our virtual SWECO lab that was also with Texas Instruments on programming fundamentals. We plan to do some more workshops. We'll talk about that in a bit. Our robotic arm project was kind of our main thing that we focused on last year in terms of projects, and we're planning to build on that for this semester, as well as some new projects we're looking forward to talking about. We also, professional development side, were able to host a diversity industry panel that was a big success. Shout out to Carlos for that. As well as some resume workshops in collaboration with SACE, in which we're trying to kind of expand on that today for you guys with industry professionals. And we also focused a lot on being able to provide a more virtual and remote impact for you guys through some of the stuff we've uploaded to YouTube. So this includes, well, these meetings is one of the applications for that. It also includes our Nights Open Circuit podcast, which has been a big success, and it's been really fun to communicate with industry and academic professionals. We have our ProDev series that Carlos has been running, our AutoCAD series that Lucas, our software director, has been doing. And we've also been doing various technical tutorials for you guys as well. This includes like our soldering safety video. I still need to upload our tutorial on the solar charger build. That is coming soon. And we also are going to be coming up with some more technical tutorials for you guys as well. So yeah, I don't think Andre can be here for tonight, but I do want to give him a big shout out for all the hard work he's been doing. He is our new webmaster. Big snaps for Andre. There's me on the website, haha. And he's been making the website look very good, really improving it this semester. That will be a central location for keeping up on events, current projects, anything that's really going on with us. It's also a great way for you to be able to sign up for to be a member of IEEE, to get onto our Discord, our Slack, follow our social medias, the whole shebang. It is right there, but also if you just Google, if you Google IEEE UCF, it will be the first thing that shows up. So it will be an easy way to get there as well. So yeah, big shout outs to him. So yes, this is the moment that a lot of you guys have been waiting for, our upcoming events and projects. Very exciting. So yeah, the dude on the bomb, woo! So in this current day and age, we do have to talk about some safety guidelines before we go into this. So next slide here is gonna be talking about just some basic precautions that we're gonna be taking when it comes to any of the events and projects we do this year. So I think first off, for sure, anything that's like widespread or has a lot of different people communicating is going to first be going over Zoom to get as many people involved as possible and keep everybody safe. That's going to be our primary thing that we focus on. But then if once we get to the points where we'll be either doing workshops, or we get to a point in a project where we're working on actually testing stuff, or actually building something, then we will go to kind of this next step where these following precautions are going to be in place. So these precautions include obviously wearing masks at all times. That's definitely the most crucial, especially as COVID is mainly spread through aerosol in the air. So definitely make sure you can wear a mask at all times if possible. Keep socially distanced. I know at times in a lab environment it might be a little bit difficult, but please try to not be in prolonged exposure to being in close proximity to one another if you're working with somebody. Sanitation is obviously key. This is one of the big things for one of our projects too, but we'll be having disinfectant wipes and hand sanitizer at any in-person event in order to, again, maximize or minimize, sorry, the chances of spread of COVID-19. Additionally, we also will be having RSVP and capacity limits for anybody that does attend. We're basically at a cap of 8 people per indoor in-person event. So that basically means if we're working in a lab environment or in, let's say we're in AGC 101, this was one of the rooms we used for one of our workshops, will be limited to at most 8 people in a lab environment, and in a big space like AGC 101, it is 25 people for an environment like that. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. So let's get into the fun part. Let's talk about some of our projects we got coming up. So first off, I want to talk about some of the service things we have in the near future here. I believe Lance is in the chat, but a big shout out to Lance for organizing our restoration effort for the Orlando community. Him and Juan, in conjunction with Global Engineering Brigade, have been working hard on getting this set up. So big shout out to you guys. I'll run through some bullets here. Our first event for this is going to be in Cocoa Beach. Basically going to be us going out there with, again, proper safety and distance guidelines in place, but also proper equipment to clean up the shorelines, keep Orlando beautiful, and be able to, give back to the community in that sense. This is going to be taking place on January 30th. That is a Saturday. I believe we will be meeting up at 7 at UCF for carpooling for that, and be doing our cleanup from 8:15 to 9:30 once we are there. And we're going to try to make this a monthly thing throughout different regions of the community. So if you can't make it to this, or you don't feel like you are like it's not like you're unable to because you have a family that you are trying to protect at all costs, we definitely understand that. If the vaccine rollout improves over this semester, there'll be more opportunities for this. So keep that in mind. This will be like a monthly thing. Each month we have an event. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It should be a good time in that aspect, and it's good for the environment and the community. And it's a great way for you to connect with one another in a fun and safe way. We're also going to be trying to do a little beach hangout afterwards, socially distanced, of course. Just so you guys can have a nice little beach day, be able to, again, build that network of engineers and have a fun time. This one's going to be a capacity of 30 participants. So I think the link for this is somewhere. If either Lance or Mohammed could send the link for this into the group chat for RSVPing for this, feel free to do so. It's also on the website, I believe, and it's definitely in the Slack. So yeah, look forward to this. This will be the first installment of that. And carpool information will be coming up soon as well. Lance, is there anything you want to add to this slide?
Not much. It's just like yeah, we're gonna cap it to 30 people, and if those who want to be carpooled, then they can either message me in the link, or after this general body meeting, I can create like a group me, so we can have like all the people that who wants to go to who wants to be carpooled be there. So that's about it.
All right, yeah, sounds good. Again, there'll be more information on kind of the rollout of carpooling in in the next week. So yeah, get excited for that. Fun times. Additionally, I wanted to welcome Caitlin Lucy on board for another project we're doing. I don't think she's in the call, but big shout outs to Caitlin for hopping on the team here. She is an environmental engineer and a good friend of mine from over the years, and from Theta Tau. But yeah, so basically what we'll be working on together here in conjunction with Global Engineering Brigade and IEEE PS, Power and Energy Society, is a technical build project that's going to be working on bringing a water filtration system and delivery system that is also powered by renewable energy to a community in Honduras. So we're going to be working on trying to install some solar technology as well as hydroelectric. We're looking at a bunch of different avenues for this. And this is still in early stages, so there's a lot that could be put in here. We're open to a lot of input, of course. And basically, the current setup we're thinking of for this project is going to be a summer 21 proof of concept in Orlando, and then in summer 2022, building a actual model of this in Honduras to be used by the community. This is, again, very exciting project. I think this is a great way for us to be able to give back to communities worldwide, and it's something we're very excited about. So if you're interested in something like this, definitely keep it in mind. We're basically going to be in need of people that have environmental, mechanical, or power backgrounds. And again, anyone is obviously welcome to participate. All right, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to our project chair to talk to you guys about our disinfection robot.
Thank you, Alex. Hello, everyone. I'm Taylor Barnes, and for the next 11 months, I'm the project lead for our disinfection robot. For those of you who have not heard about this project from previous GBMs, basically what we have going on here is we're working on an autonomous vehicle that will be able to navigate a room and disinfect all of the surfaces in the room using germicidal ultraviolet radiation, which, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, look it up. It's very cool stuff. It's the idea behind the project is it's a sanitation robot in order to combat COVID-19. So we are working on prototyping and designing the robot right now. We'll be finishing up the build next semester and making sure everything works by November of 2021, at which point we will be donating it to a medical facility for use in naturally disinfecting all the surfaces in a place where they really need to be disinfected. So next week, we're going to have a welcome meeting for the new members, where basically everyone's just going to get together, and people who've been working on it already are going to report where we're at with the project. The date and time for this project are to be decided as of yet. If you go to that QR code right there, it'll take you to a form where you can sign up and tell me what your availability is for future meetings. That'll help me out a lot, because we're looking at having 2 meetings a week from here on out, one for the hardware side of things, one for the software side of things. Speaking of which, this is a very multidisciplinary project, so no matter what your major is, no matter what your field is, there's probably a place for you on it. On the hardware side of things, there's the driving system, the power systems, as well as some more niche stuff like lighting up the fluorescent UV lamps. On software side of things, we're working with LiDAR, we're working with computer vision, we're working with path planning. So yeah, everyone please go ahead and follow that QR code if you are interested in the project. And if you have any more questions about it later on, I will be in chat here, and you can contact me on Slack at Taylor Barnes. Passing it back to you, Alex.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Taylor. Definitely something we're very excited about, and knock on wood, but we're currently hoping to donate this to UCF Health Services to be used in the clinic there. So fingers crossed, it could be something that could be used in the community very close to home here. So very excited. A lot of opportunity, a really cool thing to put on your resume if you're able to assist with this. And definitely thank you, Taylor, for leading this project so far. So I'm not sure if Tony is in the chat,
Yeah,
but
I'm here. Hello.
yeah, nice. If you want to talk about the robotic arm a little bit.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tony Du, and I'm one of the co-leaders for the Robotic Arm project. Just like a little bit like not as like huge scale as the fluorescent robot disinfectant thing, but still a pretty cool project. Been working on it for a couple years now, if my memory serves me right. Uh, when we got at this thing, when we got this thing, it was just like the arm, and like over the past semester, we've been like aiming to make it mobile. So we've been aiming to create like a proper like wooden base for it in order to move it, and also be able to remotely control it with like a PS4 controller. Um, it's not like a huge project, but it's something if you're interested in like getting your foot in the door, maybe learning about Arduino code or learning how to like wire things correctly with the breadboard and everything. definitely something you guys should check out. If you guys are interested in it, you can like hit me up on the DM me on Slack or go and join the channel for the Robotic Arm. You just like go to add channels, you just find it and just join me there. And yeah, you reach out if you're interested.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Definitely very. So this has definitely been one of the long-standing projects for IEEE UCF, and is definitely a source of pride on how far we've come with it, and we're continuing to make strides. So again, thank you guys for working on this. This is a great one to get involved with if you're a little bit newer. So feel free to reach out on that. I believe its ability to play Pong is something that we're also looking into. So it could be a fun little meme for us to do on with the project as well.
Definitely possible. Looking into it.
All right, so let's move on here. Is Miguel in the chat?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, take it away, Miguel.
Hey guys, so I'm Miguel. I'm going to be a new project lead for a new project we have this semester. So overall, the goal for this project is to have about a Pegasus sculpture for UCF, of course. We're thinking of starting small, and then maybe in the future we can go something bigger, but for this semester, we're going to go small. And the goal is to have a laser base in which there are 3 different colored lasers. And whenever you wave your hand over a laser, it changes the colors of the LED on the Pegasus. So as we move along the semester and we get more of the hardware going on, we can probably meet in person and start actually working on it. And then from the beginning, we'll be probably meeting through Discord and discussing what we're going to need, how it's going to work or something like that. From what I can see here, I already have some of the basics here, and I hope to guys see you in the future. Right now, our current estimate for our meeting times is going to be Thursday at 5. And I will drop down the interest form there to see what you guys are, how many of you guys will be interested.
Awesome. Thanks, Miguel. Additionally, we're also working in conjunction with the Society of Optical Students on this, which is basically the photonics organization here at UCF. Definitely a really cool way, if you're interested in working on this, to leave an imprint on UCF for a long time, because this will basically be donated to the engineering buildings upon its completion. So thanks, Miguel. Really look forward to where we take this in the future. So Lucas isn't in the, I know he's not in this call, but I'll kind of lead this part of the slides. But so to continue off of the success we had with workshops last semester, we're planning to do at least one workshop. This one is going to be on Friday, February the 26th, and it's going to be during E-Week, so in conjunction with Eli Squared, and it's going to be a do-it-yourself power supply. So we're currently working through the design of this. We're also looking for people to assist on the team with that. If you are interested in working on this team, please hit up Lucas Saber on this in our Slack or on the Discord. But basically what the plan is right now is to do something very similar to what we did with the solar charger and have 8 soldering stations set up at the Lake Claire Recreation Center. Have them spread out, disinfected after each use, and have a total of 24 participants come out and make one of these power supplies to take home. And kind of the goal of these is, I don't know if you guys have been to the Electronics and Circuits Lab. I know some of you guys maybe haven't had the chance to because of COVID, but this is basically a way for you to get a variety of different voltages outputted to different devices or alligator clips that you have. So it's a great way for testing designs you're making and to have basically a completed setup for your lab station. So this one's really exciting. This will be something we'll be doing again in February 26th. We are also in need of volunteers for that Friday to assist in getting people working on the design. So if you're interested in that, we'll also have a sign-up sheet for volunteers coming up soon as well. Yeah, very exciting. We'll also be giving goodie bags and some free swag to members that do volunteer. So keep that in mind as well. We just got some new little notebooks as well, looking pretty clean. We have a bunch of other stuff that we'll be giving out to people that volunteer. This also includes the service projects as well. So little incentive to give back. And additionally, before we move on here, that's the end of what we have going on with our projects and workshops. I got a few more things to talk about, but I wanted to say, if you have any ideas on future projects or workshops, or you don't know where to start on something, but you really want to get involved somehow, please reach out to us. Like, we're normal people. We're willing to talk with you guys on anything really, whether it's through Discord, Slack, DM on Instagram. It's all good. We want to work with you guys and be able to give you the opportunity to accomplish whatever your goals are and make those dreams a reality. That also includes if you have any ideas for videos and you want to lead as well. So a lot of different ways to get involved. I might come back to this in a second and try to cover everything before we get to the TI workshop here in a few minutes. One thing I did want to hit on, our new podcast episodes coming up in a few weeks here. Our guest is going to be Josh Connie from NEI. He is an associate principal engineer there, and he is also my boss at where I work. So you'll get the chance to hear from him, hear the person that I work under, hear about the life in power and renewable energy industry. I know a lot of you guys are really interested in taking on a career in that path. So if you want to hear kind of the inside scoop on what it's like to design a solar station or a substation or a wind farm or whatever, come out to that, or view it on YouTube. It's going to be a great chance for that. We might also have him on an industry panel later on here, but definitely get hyped. NEI is kind of a smaller company out in Colorado, but it will give you some variety and kind of your knowledge of the industry. So look forward to this. It'll be coming out the second week of February. And I'm going to hand this off to Carlos to talk to you guys about some of our upcoming PD events.
Yes, so we're following the PD train that we had going from last semester. So previously mentioned, last semester we published a couple of professional development videos, as well as hosted an industry panel. So for this semester, we're planning on publishing more videos, aiming for 2 right now, with one of them already determined. And the first video that's going to come out is going to be a mock interview. So ideally, we're going to be practicing how a professional interview should be conducted. So going over the do's and don'ts. And it's going to be around a 10-minute video where 5 minutes of it are dedicated to behavioral questions and 5 minutes of it are dedicated to more technical questions. And that video we are planning on releasing on February 18th. So should be a good amount of time before you hit those interviews later on in the semester, and it should be a good resource to have to practice up and get your PD game up. And then the other video is to be determined, but we will discuss that later on in the semester. And then a final event for PD, we're planning on doing another industry panel. It's going to be aimed for April. And yeah, it's going to be the same format as last semester. So we're going to do it through Zoom and have a couple of industry members just talk about their experiences.
Awesome. Thanks, Carlos. And once again, thank you for what we've been able to do with the professional development side of IEEE this year. It's been great, and we hope to continue to build on it. And with that being said, I think we're ready here to start talking about our TI resume critique section of this. We're going to transition into this portion of our GBM. So basically, this is a great chance for you guys, if you're interested in working with TI or basically working anywhere in the electrical and computer engineering industry. This is a great way for you to get your resume tailored to these engineering positions, get some tips on what are the do's and don'ts. So TI is going to give a quick presentation on that before we go into breakout rooms here. We're going to also utilize the hand raising system once we get to that point to kind of build up a queue. Don't hit it yet because I'm just going to lower your guys' hands if you do, but that's basically how we're going to organize it. We'll make little breakout rooms. We're basically going to do, we're going to shoot for 5 minutes, but we're going to probably give you guys 6 minutes just for a little bit of gap room. And then once the critique is completed, then you and one of the engineers will come back into the main room, say something in the chat or unmute yourself so we know that you guys are done, and then assign whoever is next in line to go get a critique. And additionally, so while you wait, we'll go back to that one slide that I kind of glossed over, but this is also, again, a chance for you guys to chat with us, talk about classes, talk about whatever you guys really want to talk about. It's a pretty open forum. Discuss any new ideas you have, tell us what we can do better, things that you think we're lacking on. It's a great time for you guys to talk about that. And really just discuss anything you really have. So with that being said, let's get started. I know Alec is in the room.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll start off with some introductions. First I'll go and Alec, and then I'd love to hear introductions from you guys as well, because it looks like we've got a manageable group here. So we both do work for Texas Instruments. A lot of people think Texas Instruments and think calculators, which is our only consumer facing brand. And I think my parents still think I sell calculators or something as my job. But in reality, most of our revenue, more than 85% of it, actually comes from semiconductors. So when you're designing circuits, any kind of op amps or power supplies, we sell everything from op amps, power supplies, up to DSPs. So that's anything with semiconductors you're interested in, we pretty much do it. So I'll go ahead and kick off with my introduction. My name is Nate Enos. I'm a field apps man. Been at TI since 2012. Went to UCF and was hired as an intern first and went through the rotation program and ended up being a field apps engineer, and then moved into a management role about 3 years ago, and have been involved in recruiting pretty much ever since I was hired. So I've done over 100 interviews now at this point, pretty much all of them new college graduates. So I've seen hundreds and hundreds of resumes. Really, originally grew up in Florida, currently living in Bloomington, Minnesota. That's actually me eating a fried banana split at the Minnesota State Fair, one of the biggest in the country. I miss it. I'm really looking forward to it coming back, hopefully in 2021. But I do love eating, which sometimes I cook it first and then I eat it. And love dancing, love hiking. And with that, I'll pass it off to Alec.
Awesome. Thanks. Can you hear me okay? Awesome.
Hear you.
Yes.
So my name's Alec. I'm a software engineer. I've been at TI full-time for about 1.5 years now. So I started as an intern in 2018, and then I joined TI full-time in 2019. So joined just in time for, I think since I joined, we've had a tornado hit. We've had, pandemic now. It was a rough time to move. And I'm out here in Dallas, Texas. So this is our main location / headquarters. I kind of feel like I got to throw some shade because, he's talked about Minnesota State Fair being one of the biggest, and Texas also has one of the biggest state fairs right here in Dallas, right nearby. Should have came with a picture handy, would have been a little bit better. In terms of my hobbies, I really like cars, really like PC gaming, and then I have a lot of pets. So at the beginning of quarantine, we were fostering a lot of animals. I think we went through, we fostered, I think 5 dogs and then somewhere between 20 and 30 cats. Fortunately, we stopped that after like 4 months because that would have gotten really out of hand. 30 in that time span, and then you multiply that out by how long quarantine's been at this point, and it gets a little out of hand. But we've settled into all our dogs now. And speaking of dogs, if you hear my dog squeaking a ball, let me know if I don't hear it. The headphones kind of block it out, and you guys are probably more likely to hear it than I am. And with that, I think we can move on. Nate, did you want to let them do introductions, or did you want to get right into it?
Yeah, if we could just quickly go around and just introduce who you are. Yeah, I guess just who you are. We know what school you go to, but yeah, one particular hobby or interest you have.
Do you mean right now or when we go into the breakout rooms?
Whichever you prefer, Alex.
It might be better for that because we have a lot of people, but
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, we'll keep moving along then.
Yeah, I want us to make sure that we can get to as many people in the rooms and not take up too much of your time. So
yeah, awesome. Absolutely. All right, well, let's dive into it.
Awesome. So first, let's talk about like looking at TI's like business, the people, like what the environment's like, and then kind of the financial aspects and what industries we're most active in. So, there's TI technology all around us. As he said, we mostly make semiconductors. So we're mostly, if you think about it from a consumer perspective, we're mostly supplying other industries, right? So there's a lot of examples there of different technologies we're in. Another place you can look at is like smart home devices. So like Nest thermostats was one that a lot of people are familiar with. There's a lot of like key electronics that are going to other places, or will have TI parts or dozens or multiple TI parts. So we're like you said, we're not just a calculator company. It's really one of the smallest portions of our portfolio. We're mostly looking at components and other electronics, so bigger consumer parts that we're selling. You want to move ahead, Nate?
Mm-hmm.
Nate, you good? I think we might.
Sorry, did you say something? I think my internet's got a little glitchy.
No, you're good. So as it says, we're shaping the future of electronics. We're doing engineering manufacturing in all sorts of different components and markets, but mostly focusing on analog and embedded semiconductors. So in all these different markets we're in, you'll see multiple companies, sometimes competitors, sometimes not, that are going to be adding our electronics to their products, either that make them smarter, more connected, safer, energy efficient are some of our key areas, right? So some people will be familiar with like MSP, which is very focused on like low power. Some people will be more familiar with our connectivity parts, and then other people will be more familiar with some of our more analog parts, such as like our op amps and etc. Where then we're also always looking at these new and emerging markets that we can kind of get into. It's like to kind of either make an impact with new technology or just kind of figure out what help push our customers' needs and kind of expand where the industry is going. And then two of our biggest areas are always going to be industrial and automotive. And then we also have, as it shows, personal electronics, communications, and then enterprise. But the industrial and automotive are typically our biggest focuses and key priority customers. Then you can go ahead, Nate.
All right.
So then this is a kind of a breakdown of customer issues that are coming up with our products and kind of helping them, making sure that we're giving the support they need to be able to continue using our product and not considering, moving to our competitors. So yeah, I think we don't need to talk too much here. We can keep going. If you want to click ahead, Nate.
Sure.
So now we'll kind of move into the career aspect of TI and what positions we have and what we're looking for in our people. So the biggest thing is we have a mandatory GPA of a 3.0. It's just kind of our baseline requirement. So we got to go from there. And then we do a lot of different degrees. Obviously, electrical and computer engineering are two of our biggest ones. I think I meet more ECE folks in TI than I think anything else. But there's also a lot of other roles we support as well. Computer science, chemical, industrial, a lot of those ones that are more focused on the manufacturing side. And as well as obviously the more overhead type of roles, such as, like our finance, HR, things that are helping more on the back end with our resources. And then you also, for any of our roles, to be considered for these, you have to be pursuing, your undergrad or your graduate degree. But I think it's pretty safe to say in this setting that that won't be an issue. Okay, yeah, I think Nate, we can go ahead. Oh, Nate, can you go ahead and click in?
I did. I think it's just taking a second to.
Okay. Yeah, I can never tell if it's your internet or if it's PowerPoint going a little bit slow. So at TI,
My brain.
Yeah. So at TI, you'll have the unique ability to work with a lot of different technologies, and then as well as many markets and roles, all while we're working for the same company. So our rotation program kind of helps you try out some different roles, so that you can kind of figure out what best fits you. It also is a great opportunity to kind of figure out what's what roles have you maybe not considered that you also might be a good fit for. So for me as a software engineer, I go from software and I was in the software engineering role for about a year, and then I did 6 months in an applications role, where I was doing support stuff, kind of more focused on the customers, as well as kind of like very customer focused software. So also kind of similar to what my current role was, it also gave me kind of more unique perspectives from like, what is the customer seeing? What is their experience like? And then, what else can we do to kind of sell our product to our customer? And all those rotations kind of vary with each role. So I think, Nate, yours for field apps is field apps and sales, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So it's just the goal is to give you kind of a different perspective of your role, as well as, what our company is doing as a whole. So then like for me, I've been actually so sold on the role I've been in doing applications that I actually just recently, since my rotation is ending, I actually just accepted a role to move into applications. So I actually am now leaving software to do software applications. So kind of focusing more on that customer experience and, their perspective on our portfolio. And then Nate, I think you can go ahead and go forward.
All right, I did it.
Give it a second. Oh, there it goes. Awesome. So, and then obviously we were doing internships. So even through, this pandemic, we still have continued to hold internships. So like a lot of the teams are still doing, interns remotely. Nate, I don't know if you know, but do you know for our more like manufacturing ones, I'm assuming they're still all remote as well, right? I actually don't know any. Oh, we lost them, didn't we?
Yeah, we might have dropped out of the call.
Okay, give me 1 second and I'll take over. Oh, it's coming back.
Might try to see if you could hop on a hotspot or something.
Here, let me see if I can. Here, I'll put up the slides. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, and then when we get to his, he'll just have to, hopefully he'll have his stuff figured out. So then kind of looking at our internships. So all our internships were remote last year. We continued to go through with it. I know that wasn't super common, but I think everybody felt that it was kind of the right decision at the time. So the biggest thing is we're always going to give our interns, challenging work. I don't think we're never giving interns busy work. I definitely had some internships before TI where I was kind of doing miscellaneous tasks. Sometimes, I'd have to be helping people out here and there. But typically every internship project I've ever seen has always been like it's been just something that we didn't have time for on somebody else's plate. It's never been like, oh, here's just some busy work for you. It's always been a very meaningful task that had an impact on the business. So even today, like I think just last week, I got asked a question about a project I did as an intern. What was that, 2.5 years ago? So you really can feel the impact of what you're doing. So along with that, obviously, we're very all the leaders in the management you're going to encounter are always going to be really open. So we'll always have a lot of intern events where you can kind of meet people who are either, your managers, the heads of your business, or people in other parts of the company. So we really have a big focus on making sure people get the full experience of not just their role and their team, their business, but also kind of getting to understand TI as a whole and what kind of we're about and et cetera. And then also we usually do an innovation day every summer. I don't actually know how this is working with remote, how this worked with remote last year, but we usually do an innovation day that allows all the interns to kind of see other demos and prototypes of what's going on. So you can kind of see like, oh, this business unit is doing cool stuff with robotics using their sensors and that type of thing. So you can kind of get an idea of what all these different projects are going on and how engineers in the company are using our products in their own projects, as well as, what they're doing for their job. And then the goal of every internship we do is to move somebody into a full-time role. So everybody at the end of an internship, you'll get basically a final meeting where it'll be discussed whether, if you've, the work you've done, what impact you've made, and then assuming everything's gone well, you'll be getting a follow-up full-time offer. But the goal is always that we convert as many interns into full-time employees as possible. We're not just doing interns to fill space. They're always based on our projections of how many people we want to hire the next time. And then Nate, are you back now?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to keep my video off just to conserve precious bandwidth. Then I'll go ahead and share my screen. Let's
okay.
See if that works. Okay. Let me know when you can see it.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't tell if it was mine or yours for a second.
All right. I think I might still be on a 10-second delay or something. So I'll try to give some good pauses so people can ask questions. I apologize if I accidentally interrupt you. The delays always make that a little bit worse. But please feel free to stop, ask as many questions as you want. You can send them in the chat or just interrupt us. But with that, we can go ahead and dive into it, and we'll leave plenty of time. I'll go through this fairly quickly so we have plenty of time for breakouts. And we have a bunch of people on the call today. In terms of agenda, we're going to hit what's the main goal of the resume in our eyes, some considerations in terms of what to include in the resume, like what we really look for. We have a sample that we can show you and talk about, and then some tips and tricks here and there. So starting with the main goal, what it's not. It's not a chance to showcase everything you've done, including things you've done in school and things you've done outside of school or work. Really, the main goal is very simply to get you an interview. It's a piece of paper to help get you in the door. Once you get the interview, it's going to be what you say and what you can talk through that's going to be able to get you from there moving forward. So the resume is just a piece of paper to help you stand out enough to get that first call. In terms of some basics, I won't go through every single bullet point here, but some big things to highlight is the first one is make it easy and quick to read. So that depends on having it be well organized, having it be formatted well. And why that's so important is the time that people spend reading a resume, and I'm guilty of this as well, it can usually be measured in seconds and not minutes. When we were doing interviews in person, it would be common to have 8 interviews in one day, each one an hour back to back. And that would mean, and I'd get basically an interview packet sent pretty much the day before. So on the plane, I'm reading through resumes and taking notes and jotting some things down. So you really want things to be quick, because people are just skimming through a whole bunch of them at a time. So you want it to flow really well, so the important things jump out. And then there's also some other tips that we'll go into the next slides, but making sure things are relevant, making sure things are free of grammatical errors. So going a layer deeper into what are the things we're really looking for, and this applies to, I'd say, pretty much any big corporation. The first one is academics. It's the basics right at the top, easy to read. Alec mentioned here was our GPA minimum, things like that. We want to be able to check and confirm, and then, making sure it's easy for people to get a hold of you. The second one is actually, I think, the single most important, and it says relevant work project experience. And for me, it really comes down to the relevance. I feel this is the biggest single mistake I see when people write resumes is they'll typically put in something that is either the most challenging or the things they're most proud of, but they'll actually sacrifice the relevance in some case in order to do that. So as an example, this I see all the time, which is, personally, I hire mostly hardware guys, mostly analog, and it's usually people who are going to do some kind of circuit board level design. So if you're going to design an op amp and make an instrumentation amp and plug it into an ADC kind of thing. And I would actually much rather see, hey, I designed this instrumentation amp in my electronics course than I would rather see I use LabVIEW to automate something at my Raytheon internship. And I see that at Raytheon internship 100 times, and I almost never see this just project in electronics course, even though it's more relevant to what I'm specifically looking for. So just something to think about is the relevance is what's really going to let you stand out. On one, you show you understand the job and you understand what they care about. And it's also going to give people, as you move in an interview, something that they can ask you about and get a good conversation with. So that's the relevant bullet point. Leadership, definitely. We got IEEE people here. So member, great. If you're president or secretary or anything there, absolutely include it. We love to see that. And then lastly, anything that can somehow show passion for technology. I recently interviewed a guy, and he actually had a startup where he was working on a little circuit board and a box that would go on top of telephone or electric wires to help sense when lines are down to avoid fires. So, you know, that really jumped out to me. I'm like, man, he's like doing all these kind of side projects that are outside of his coursework. That really came off to me that, okay, definitely something passionate. And that was all over his resume. So anything that's unique to you that shows that you have passion, passion is a much better indicator for success for us than specific body of knowledge. Any questions here before I move to the next slide? All right. So here's a sample resume we have. This isn't for an engineering job. It's just kind of a generic. I think it's for a comms job, but I like how it's laid out. You can see at the very top, we did redact the personal information that would obviously normally be there, name, easy way to contact you. But we can instantly see at the very top what school they went to, what was their GPA, what was their degree, or what did they focus on. Next, we see a summary statement, and I'll be the first to, these are optional. And it's not even like an optional that you should include. It truly is optional, where I would only recommend including it if you feel like it can help you either stand out in the unique way or applies the passion. So maybe for this, like the financial analysis and forecasting, if that's really relevant and it wasn't really spiked out in the experience, then maybe it adds some value, so include it. But how many resumes do you think include people who say that they're goal-oriented and professional? 99.8% of them, I promise you. So use it as a way to stand out, but don't just use it to fill the paper. Next, we can see experience and chronological, or it's actually, you know, kind of reverse chronological, or the most recent thing is at the top. That's typically the way to do it. I recommend doing that. And I actually really liked how they did their bullet points here, where it was, here's my job, here's my role responsibility. Okay, here's what I did. I execute client marketing campaigns. And then it was a bullet point on what was the work that was actually done. What did they specifically contribute to? I designed 2 sell sheets, 1 print, 1 postcard, presented this. And we'll have some other examples that are more specific to like an engineering, electrical engineering type role. And they included Applebee's experience. You know, and that's great. To me, I'm in a sales-facing role. I'm looking at that thinking, okay, they've worked with customers, probably customers who've been upset with them about some kind of dish that got messed up. I get customers who call me complaining about chips not shipping right now. That's good experience in my book. So definitely don't be shy to include it. But let's talk about what actually specifically helps people stand out. So as we're looking through these, what really jumps off the paper, and it really can be broken up into 2 main things. 1, let your results speak for themselves. If there's anything that you did, particularly if it's relevant, include that and talk about what you contributed to. A lot of times you see this, you know, or I was part of a project that did this, and people even use that kind of terminology in the interviews. But we always end up asking the question, okay, what did you do? What was your role specifically, and what did you contribute to it? And then the second point is saying the verbs are really important here. They have some good examples of, okay, we achieved first place in this competition, or I worked on this design and I improved efficiency by 20%. Things that are quantifiable like that really jump off, because then that, you know, first thing I'm thinking as a hiring manager is, well, dang, how'd you do that? Talk to me through your process. And then I'm looking for, do they understand these trade-offs? Are they able to get results and get these things done? Any question on those last 2 slides? All right. And then this next point kind of goes back to the point on passion. But the other thing that helps you jump off the paper is truly things that are unique and differentiated. lots of resumes, a lot of people talking about the classes that they've done, the projects that they've done. Really, and for anything where it says no experience, fill in other projects, this list I think can be summarized by, have you ever done anything that wasn't specifically required of you? If the answer is yes, then awesome, put that in there, because that's telling us you're proactive. You've probably done it because you're interested or you felt like you had to, but either way, you like took some initiative to like, okay, not only did I do my class, but then I took it and I applied it over here, or I did this hackathon and I put together this cool concept. Those are all the kind of things where you think, okay, that person's either they've got passion or they've got drive, and both are good. And here are a couple of phrases that we got from some of my peers. Some things that they like seeing in resumes. The first one, short bullet points and talking about the things that they personally own. So keep it interesting and talk about the things that you specifically contributed to. The second one, having things be crisp, having a really good communication skills, and talk about the specific tools and skills. So they spiked out, do you know how to code in Verilog or Perl? That sounds like maybe an FPGA type thing. I personally don't care about that, but this person really does. Or tell me that you designed some boost circuits. That I care about, definitely. Tell me all day about boost circuits. I would love to hear it. And then the last one is, do you have the motivation to drive ideas to completion? So talking about executing on some ideas and getting things done. And then the last one is kind of goes back to hobby projects or any kind of excitement. And I'll be the first to admit, you don't have to be a tinkerer. I'm not a tinkerer. I don't solder circuits in my spare time, but I always have some kind of passion projects that I worked on. So it doesn't have to be the specific thing that you tinkered and put together. It could be the side projects you've done with your leadership opportunities, something you did with IEEE, anything like that. So we'll wrap up with a quick summary before we jump into the breakout groups, and we'll have time for questions in between there. So again, just to reiterate, the whole purpose of the resume is just to get you to interview. Once you get in the door, it'll be your magnetism and charisma that's gonna, and your knowledge base that's gonna help you from that. But the piece of paper just needs to get you that interview. Second is make sure that it's relevant and you're matching up what the job cares about in the resumes. I know it's really time consuming, but we see this all the time, especially career fairs. People come and they'll say, "I'll take any job you got. Just give me something." And as much as I appreciate the flexibility, something that really helps people stand out is when they say, "You know what? I understand that you're somehow involved in field applications, and particularly interested in field applications because of X, Y, and Z." And your resume can do the same thing. You can, adapt it to the specific role that you're going for. We talked about success verbs, quantifying results, help yourself standing out, and definitely use the resources you have available. So use Career Center, use IEEE. Calls like this are a good example of being resourceful. And then the last bullet point is do make sure that the resumes match online presence. So LinkedIn profile, those should look pretty much identical. And then just as the last point before we wrap up and go into questions is, like Alec mentioned, we hire hundreds of people every single year, many of them new college graduates. That's how I got a job from UCF. We are still hiring in COVID. There's still, actually, people are asking for chips left and right. People are still buying, so we are hiring. We're still doing internships virtually. We're still doing rotation programs. So the doors are still open. Feel free to reach out if you're interested. And some other kind of interesting resources is we have an online simulation tool and part selection tool. If you do anything power supply related, that's called WebBench. We have lots of reference designs and kits that we put together that are proven. So if you're doing senior designs, it can be really helpful. We have an E2E community where you can post questions if you have any kind of problem with the part, and our apps engineers and other people can help answer them. We can also have samples. So if you're building up a board and you want some parts, you can order some samples, and sometimes you can get some free samples too. And then lastly, just technical documentation. I just had a guy who, it was his first year out of college. He was working on my team. He said in school, he hated data sheets. They were so boring. But after his first year as an FAE, he said now they're his favorite because that's where all the answers are. So I can't say it enough. It really is true. Most of the answers to the questions are in the data sheet. And with that, we'll pause for questions one more time and then jump into breakout sessions.